So you said that you're coming in here with knee pain. What were you doing when you hurt your knee?
So I was in a football game and my quarterback fumbled the ball. I went to pick it up, and as I picked it up and started to run the other way, somebody hit me in the lower leg, and I heard a loud pop and fell to the ground.
So what position would you say that your body was in when this occurred?
I was in a hunched over position and also mid-rotation towards the other end zone.
Could you move your knee after this happened?
I don't remember doing so, no.
So you said that there was a pop?
Yes, a very audible pop. I don't know if other people heard it, but I definitely did.
And with that, did you have any swelling going on with?
Pretty immediate. Again, I was in pain, so I wasn't really looking at my knee, but when I did calm down a little bit, my knee was pretty swollen and bruised.
Has this ever happened to you before? Have you ever had any previous knee injuries?
I have not, no.
So what knee did that happen on?
Happened on my left knee down here.
All right, we're gonna check it out. Just feel around for a little bit, see if anything feels out of the ordinary. I'm gonna have you bring your knee up a little bit, slide that foot back just a little bit. Perfect. All right, things look good on the knee and the bones of your lower leg. So just go ahead and lower that back down. We're gonna check out the other side. Same thing, if you could just bring that leg back. Perfect. All right, things look good here. Go ahead and bring that back down. Now we're going to test your range of motion, see how that injury has affected how much you can flex and extend your knee. The first test that we're going to do is your flexion. We're going to put this goniometer right in the joint line from the, go ahead and flex a little bit so I can find the inferior pole of your patella. Go down into that joint line. That's where going to be our standard starting point. We're going to point this in towards the greater trochanter, and then this other angle is going to go down towards the lateral malleolus. I'm going to have you go ahead and pull your foot back into flexion as much as you can. All right. Looks like we are at just about 131 degrees of knee flexion, and now I'm going to have you go into full extension. Put the same markers at the greater trochanter, the focal point in the joint line, and this arm at the lateral malleolus we have right at 0 degrees. That's what we're looking for. Same thing on the other side. Go ahead and flex your knee just a little bit. Okay, and go ahead and bring back as far as you can. So we got a little more, we're closer to 135 on the right side. And then if you could go into full extension. And we're right at 0. We're gonna test for your ACL here. We're gonna do 2 different tests. The first one that we're doing is gonna be the Lockman's test. So for this one, I'm gonna have you bring your left knee to bend it up just a little bit. And at this angle, we're right at about 30 degrees of flexion. I'll put one hand under the side of your lateral femur, and then one hand on the back or posterior of your knee. I'm gonna tilt this away just a little bit, and then give it a pull. Alright. Put that back to neutral position. We're gonna pull this knee back just a little bit more to about 45 degrees. For this one, I'm gonna have both hands under the back or posterior, a little bit below your knee. All right, go ahead and pull that back down. Same thing with the other side. We're gonna start with the Lockman's test. So you should bend your knee just a little bit. We're gonna rotate this out slightly. And then for our second one, our anterior drawer, we're gonna bend that knee just a little bit more till it's about 45 degrees. This one's gonna be a little bit harder of a pull. All right. The first exercise that we're gonna do to rehab this ACL is gonna be flexion and extension with a ball against the wall. The goal of this exercise is to generate neuromuscular control throughout the range of motion and extension at the knee, as well as introducing low impact proprioception and keeping the ball in contact with the wall. The second exercise of our acute phase is a Romanian deadlift. The goal of this exercise is to keep stability at the knee during extension. The up phase of this lift improves hamstring strength as the ACL is not put in a vulnerable position when the quadricep strength greatly outratios hamstring strength. Another exercise of our acute phase is the single leg stand. This will be completed on both the injured and injured side, and the goal of this is to improve proprioception and balance. One of the first exercises in our intermediate phase of rehab is the back squat with a block underneath. This engages concentric knee extension without the stress of going into fully weighted flexion. Another exercise of our intermediate phase is the proprioception clock. This is an extension of the single leg stand from the acute phase, in which the unsupported leg is going to move in a clock-like circular manner from forwards to the side and then behind the supported leg. This is adding movement to the single leg stand, which improves stability at the knee as well as balance and proprioception throughout the body. Another exercise in our intermediate phase of rehab is light intensity karaoke. This is going to introduce movement in multiple planes. It engages the core and tests kinesthetic awareness throughout the movement. This also helps to improve coordination that may have decreased since taking time off the sport. In our return to play phase of rehab, one of the first movements that we have is a speed skater. This mimics the quick back and forth actions of football, and it also introduces varus and valgus forces to the ACL, but in a controlled manner, and this tests to see if the athlete is ready to return to play. Also in the return to play phase of rehab, we have the box jump with a quarter turn. This includes explosive concentric and eccentric contractions at the knee and is multiplanar and is reflective of the coordination needed to run forward while still twisting backwards to follow the ball throughout football. Sprinting will engage the fast twitch muscle fibers that may have experienced atrophy throughout the rehab and injury process.